Deaf language, ASL, is visual. It's not printed. There is a strong oral tradition in ASL, which incorporates storytelling, not printed words. People who were hearing, who may have lost their hearing and don't know ASL, might benefit from reading captions, but the magic and the spirit is gone. The relationship between the performer and the interpreter is interesting to watch, and sometimes they perform in sync with one another, and other times they perform to the audience. For me, I'd prefer the interpreted music than the captions.
But I think there's many more things going on for deaf people than a literal translation of what's going on with the music. If the sign language interpreter gets close and people feel a certain something thudding in their chest, which deaf people certainly feel, particularly if there's a band involved, and just by the attitude of the person that's on the stage, by that time I think the absolutism in the language may be 40% of it.
So sometimes, you actually end up understanding your own songs a little
better. Yeah, absolutely.
You get new insight into the emotion of your own songs, because you're conveying something to that one person, to that interpreter, who then is conveying it to everyone else.
She sucks on the bottle, holds it in her hand, and thinks it's shaped like a woman. She's 17, not yet a woman, but the beer is cold and it tastes like freedom. And she likes it. It feels good. This is Independence, Indiana. And she likes it. It feels good. Life may never be sweet again in Independence, Indiana. Now if you ask her, she'll tell you high school sucks, and people say she's just like her mother. But she's got a boyfriend, and he's got a car. Life just ain't that complicated. And she likes it. It feels good. This is Independence, Indiana. And she likes it. It feels good. Life may never be as sweet again in Independence, Indiana.
Many of the songs that are performed here have very deep messages, and the interpreters need to be able to analyze it.
Because there is emotion. When somebody writes something, it's not static. It's not in a vacuum in which they wrote that song. It was experiences and events which formed them and caused them to write these words. And so when you're interpreting that, there's more emotion to it.
I get nervous before I go on stage, and people say, oh no, don't be nervous, and then I realize that that's just stage energy, and you go up there and that energy you get energy from the performers, you get energy from the audience, it's all kind of going around, and there's a part of me that doesn't like to be expressed otherwise, and if they're giving the thing that I can express, it's a lot more fun.
I think it's also cathartic.
Yes.
I find sometimes that
Especially
I'm
when you
not a
get to sign
writer. I'm not a singer-songwriter. So there are times where things that do get evoked from me emotionally or politically or spiritually. I don't have the words for it. So if somebody else has the words and I get to breathe it in and I get to have it come out of my body and my pores and stuff, it just feels wonderful.
Yesterday I had a vision beneath a tree where we once talked of an old couple burning their love letters so their children won't be shy. Love calls like the wild birds. It's another day. Spring wind blew my list of things to do away. Ah, your children go on to sleep now. Don't you know it's getting late? I know you don't like to miss nothing, and I know school ain't that great. Oh, I'll dance with you when you're happy, I'll hold you when you're sad. Hope you know how glad I am just to be your dad. Love calls like the wild birds. It's another day. Spring wind blew my list of things to do away. Well, darling, it's been hard to go, but I think we'll be okay. I know I say that all the time, like everything else I say. Oh, I've been gone so often. Every time I miss you, I don't really know nothing except I like to kiss you. Love calls like the wild birds. It's another day. Spring wind blew my list of things to do away.
Watching sign language interpreters really do a great job is great performance to me also, as a performer.
Poetry's probably the most difficult thing what's the most difficult thing for me to work with, because it's even more personalized than music is.
And to me, poetry, not always, because it can be the same thing, but it's more of a frozen moment where a story has more of a beginning, a middle, and an end. You start someplace, you go someplace. And a poem, you maybe a second, maybe a thought. And so sometimes it's almost like a poem is out of context, out of life. You just pull it out. So, I don't know. But I think poetry is real difficult.
And if you put your ear to the ground and listen close, you can hear the snake. I live in the cracks, the spaces in between. And since the dawn of time, I have warmed my blood, sharing the heat the stones retained, cooled myself in moist crevices, secreted in fissures created when the earth settles and your abodes do not conform. Down here, the world is silent and sensuous. I taste the changes in the air. The earth tells me what's afoot. I bathe in vibrations and scents, eat only what I kill. I embrace the dark and light. Nurture my venom with the secrets of both. Strike like lightning, then withdraw. I haunt your myths and dreams. My individualism awes you. I am to blame for seducing you to knowledge. I wrap your healer's staff. My juices cure and kill. But I am a simple being, seeking to master nothing but my own survival. I find those secret folds in the womb of the planet, match my heartbeat to the pounding tides and hammering pile drivers, tune myself to the earth's enduring. And when it is time for me to grow, I leave myself behind. Watch me while I shed my skin.
I'd like to apologize to the deaf community for utilizing the interpreter in far more a way than most people utilize interpreters. I figure if she's going to be on my stage, we're going to use her for more than just communicating with your folks. We're going to let it know that this is how it should be done. Everybody should know how to speak this language, damn it. So, and no one steps on my stage with me and not be part of the show. Just standing over there, letting you folks know what I'm saying. And y'all watching her the whole time. Dorothy, look at me. I'm performing up here, not her. That's the other thing you need to get across. What? Don't sign to me, girl. I know y'all don't understand it. Oh, I understood that one. I know what that one means. I've actually touched base with the deaf community and asked them, is that cool? And they basically say, you know, whatever, if it's you, it's cool. You know, they're not a thin-skinned bunch of people. They understand caustic comedy or wherever it might be headed. So I've had some great experiences with Jody and with Dave. Dave McCluskey is another one where I actually handed him the guitar and I stepped over into the interpreter's box and did some interpreting, which was very comedic.
The place was going wild. And Vance was playing his guitar while Dave was interpreting off to the side. Vance went up to Dave and said, hey, let's switch. So they did. Dave took the guitar and started to play it. And meanwhile, Vance was gesturing as if he was interpreting. It was so funny. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, we laughed so hard. I'll never forget that.
We were playing, I think we were playing Life is Large, and Pete went into a guitar solo. And Dave and I went up to Dave, and Dave started playing air guitar, you know? And he was, I think that sort of frees the audience.
It made me cry. I'm gonna cry again. Dorothy, when she was a little kid, she used to listen to her dad's record, put her ear up to the record, and listen to it every day to try to hear the words. And she saw it interpreted for the first time today. Oh my God. And it was me.
As the person started performing, all of a sudden bells went off for me. And I thought, wait a second. And I watched the performer and I watched the interpreter, and I felt very funny. And as I watched, all of a sudden I had a flashback to high school. I thought, oh my God, I know this song. I know exactly what they're talking about. And my eyes started to well up once again. The person was singing a Simon and Garfunkel song called America. That was it for me. I started crying.
And I started crying, and everybody was crying, and there was not a dry eye in the house. And she said it was beautiful. It was the first time she said she understood it.
I was back in high school again as a young girl, listening to that song. Now I couldn't hear, so I had the radio pressed up against my ear, and I had the volume cranked up. But I asked my dad, what are the words? Because the words were printed for me, and I asked my dad to follow the words with his fingers. Oh, that was an inspiring experience.
You know, I like to see somebody who's got an affinity with the music and the performer. If somebody's going faster, I want the interpreting to be faster, or if something's slow, I want somebody to follow suit. I like to see a difference.
We've had different interpreters in the past, and so one day we had Dave do our interpretation for us, our signing, and he snapped in with what we were doing so perfectly. It was like another member of the band. You know, certain interpreters work well with certain bands and others work well. Dave's our man.
Well, I can't even talk of interpreting without talking about Jody Gill, who, when she's interpreting for me, we break a lot of rules. And we started breaking those rules almost a decade ago when I started working at the Falcon Ridge Folk Festival and at Clearwater Folk Festivals.
Jennifer is the signer, and she's just, there's so much acting in her that it's so incredible to see. I just saw a great day, and it's there. I mean, all of the praise and the warmth and everything that I feel when I sing that is right there.
Well, I know what it's like to be scared and low when sorrow grabs hold of your heart. When all that starts tumbling down, you feel like you're falling
just when you think there's nowhere to go, and just when you think, how hard can I fall, and just when you think there's no hope inside, the Lord is your cry, and with all of his might, great day, great day, great day, great day, great day, that the Lord has made. So shout it out, shout it out, and let us sing and praise his name. Our God and King, for all he brings, on this great day, 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 great day.
Oh, sing out all the people, that lift your voices to the Lord and rejoice, rejoice, rejoice unto the Lord and sing it out in the hillside, sing it out in Falcon Ridge, sing it out on the mountain, sing it out and out on the road.
Great day, great day, great day, great day, shout it from the shout it day, Lord ever say, great God, great King, all the glory that he brings on this great day, great day, great day, great day, great day. Sing it out and praise his name on this great day, on this great
I think it should be everywhere. I think it's a great thing. I think, many people say, well, why do we need interpreters where we are? We don't have deaf people that come to these shows. It's like, duh. You'd have deaf people come to these shows if you had an interpreter there. And I think the right interpreters, when they're really doing their thing, I think it's attractive to the hearing crowd too, because they're getting it all. They're getting, it's performing, and I'm a performer's performer. Performing is a big, full experience. It's visual, it's oral, it's if I could make it smell, I'd make it smell, man. You should be able to get a little bit of everything. And if you're watching the performer and you see somebody over off to the side emoting this stuff, giving this stuff out to another group of people who need to get it a different way, if your experience isn't filled by that, you need to check your pulse.
Chance to walk this life. If you should get lost, you're stuck in time. Oh yeah, now just believe this road is not in here. How do you want to be remembered? A raging fire or a dying? Life is large, bigger than propellers. Life is large, all you need is just a little trust. Oh yes, you must be yourself and stand your ground. Don't you let nobody turn you around. Life is large, hey, life is large.
God, I hope I don't sound like a dork.
Was I in it?
Yeah, but your pizza matched your shirt.